Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're opening up a file that, I have to say, creates a massive amount of cognitive dissonance for me.
Oh, for sure.
Because on the surface, our source material today looks like the absolute definition of a Saturday morning card. It is bright, it's colorful, the hair physics, they completely defy gravity.
They really do.
And it is explicitly, unapologetically designed to sell trading cards to children.
It is. We are looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! .gx.
Oh.
And if you stop paying attention to anime around, 2004, or maybe you only know the original series with the Pharaoh and the Millennium items,
right,
then you probably remember this as the one with the kid in the red jacket at the boarding school.
Exactly. And the premise is so disarmingly innocent. It's a high school, but for card Duel Academy.
Yeah.
You expect, exams, cafeteria drama, maybe a rivalry over who's the best duelist or who gets to date the popular girl. And we get that. We get plenty of that.
We do.
But the reason we're diving into this today isn't for the nostalgia trip. It's because if you actually track the 4-year timeline of this show, which our sources have done in excruciating detail, it is a rabbit hole of existential dread, psychological trauma, and fascinating deconstruction of what it actually means to be a hero.
It's a remarkable case study in genre shift. We're tracking the evolution of the protagonist, Jaden Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
And the sources lay out a journey that takes him from this happy-go-lucky slacker who just wants to get his game on to a hardened, traumatized warrior who has to learn that saving the world means you have to sacrifice pieces of your own soul. And I mean that literally.
It's basically a High School Musical meets Apocalypse Now, with a splash of H.P. Lovecraft.
That's a great way to put it.
1 minute you're worried about failing Dr. Crowler's written exam, the next you're fighting for your sanity against a guy who wants to erase the concept of individuality from the universe using a children's card.
And that's our mission today. We have a comprehensive chronological breakdown of Jaden's 4 years at the Academy. We're going to look at how the show uses the medium of a card to explore themes of abandonment, depression, and the crushing weight of expectation.
So let's unpack this. We have to start at the very beginning. Part 1, the freshman year, or as I like to call it, the innocent era.
Yeah, that fits.
The vibes are chill, the sky is blue, and Jaden Yuki is, true to form, late for his entrance exam.
Classic shonen protagonist behavior. He's rushing to the test, scrambling through the city, and he literally bumps into destiny.
He really does.
He runs into this random guy, though the show heavily implies, without explicitly saying the name.
Oh, it's him.
It's Yugi Muto, the protagonist of the original series, the legendary king of games.
The legend himself. You see the spiky hair, the leather pants. It's gotta be him. And this interaction, because Yugi doesn't just say, watch where you're going, he hands him a card.
A specific card, yeah. Winged Kuriboh?
Winged Kuriboh.
That's right. He hands him this card and says something like, something just tells me that it belongs with you. It's the passing of the torch.
It really is.
But narratively, what this does is it establishes Jaden's archetype immediately. He takes the card and he winks at it.
He does.
He relies on intuition. He feels a connection to the card right away. In fact, he claims he can hear the card spirits talking to him. This is what sets him apart from the rigid academic setting he's not a scholar. He's a natural.
Which brings us to his first big hurdle, Dr. Crowler, the wicked stepmother of Duel Academy.
Oh, absolutely. This guy is the head of the department. He's got this whole elitist thing going on, and he is trying to fail Jaden before he even gets in the door, just because he was late.
Just for being late.
And Crowler is so crucial because he represents the establishment. He believes in rigid structure, elite pedigree, and technical perfection. So he volunteers to duel Jaden himself, using his personal deck.
The legendary Ancient Gears.
To just crush this slacker. Now, for those of you who aren't deep into the card game mechanics, the Ancient Gear archetype is terrifying to play against.
It is.
It's all about brute force and just shutting down interaction. His ace monster, Ancient Gear Golem, is this massive, rusted machine that prevents the opponent from using spell or trap cards when it attacks.
It's a walking tank that essentially says, you are not allowed to respond to this beating I'm about to.
Exactly. And everyone watching, the other students, the faculty, they think Jaden is finished. He's a nobody with a weird deck.
But here's where we get the first glimpse of Jaden's superpower.
Right.
And it's not his cards. It's his attitude.
He smiles.
Yeah.
That's the thing you have to catch. He is genuinely having fun facing this impossible monster.
Yeah.
He uses Winged Kuriboh, that gift he just received, to survive the damage, which is a nice symbolic nod to him inheriting Yugi's legacy. And then he showcases his specific style, fusion summon.
Can we just clarify that for a second? For anyone uninitiated, what is fusion summoning in this context, and why is it Jaden's?
Okay, so in the game, fusion is literally taking 2 or more monsters and combining them with a spell card, polymerization, to create a new, stronger one. But metaphorically for Jaden, it represents connection. His whole strength comes from bringing different things together to make something. He fuses his heroes, Elemental Hero Avian and Elemental Hero Burstinatrix, to summon Elemental Hero Flame.
Which is such a cool design, half dragon, half superhero with that sleek visor. But just by the numbers, the Golem is still stronger.
Right, it is. The Golem has 3,000 attack. Flame Wingman only has 2,100.
So it's not enough.
Exactly. Jaden can't overpower him with brute strength alone. So this is where he plays Skyscraper. It's a field spell, which basically changes the environment of the game.
And visually, the whole arena transforms, right? It becomes this city at night with huge buildings.
It does. And mechanically, it gives his hero a Economos point attack boost. Sure. But, and this is the important part, only when it's battling a stronger monster.
That is perfect. It's the perfect mechanical metaphor for Jaden himself, the underdog who only rises to the occasion when the odds are stacked against him.
It really is. It's beautiful storytelling through game mechanics. With the boost, Flame Wingman destroys the Golem, deals burn damage equal to the Golem's attack, and Jaden wins the duel.
He defeats the head professor on day 1, before he's even technically a student.
And just like that, he's in.
Yeah.
But because his written grades are terrible, I mean, he was literally sleeping during the exam.
Of course he was.
He gets placed at the very bottom of the social hierarchy. And we need to talk about the dorm system, because for a Japanese high school, this place is shockingly classist.
Oh, it's a rigid caste system, modeled after the Egyptian god cards of all things.
Right. You've got obelisk blue at the top, the elites where all the money and the supposed talent are. Their dorm is a literal mansion.
A mansion.
Then there's raw yellow, the average middle tier.
Yeah.
And then at the very bottom, you have Slifer Red.
The dropout, the rejects, the dorm with the broken plumbing, the bad food, and the tiny cramped room.
And of course, that's where Jaden lives. But honestly, the crew he builds there is iconic. This is the slice of life part of the show that really hooks you.
It establishes that found family dynamic, which is so essential for the tragedy that comes later.
It really is. You've got Sears Truesdale, who's the anxious sidekick. His whole narrative arc is about living in the shadow of his older brother, Zane, who is the top student in the entire school. Sears is terrified of making mistakes. He plays super defensively.
And then there's Chumley Huffam.
Chumley, who starts as just pure comic relief. He loves grilled cheese. He wants to sleep all the time. But he kind of represents the student who just doesn't fit the mold of a warrior.
Right.
And eventually they're joined by Bastian Masawa, the math genius from Raw Yellow, who calculates every single move but comes to respect Jaden's pure instinct.
It's a great little ragtag group. But we have to talk about the foil, the rival, Chaz Prince.
The Chaz. You can't talk about GX without
Chaz it up. His arc is honestly one of the best entire. He starts as this just insufferable elitist snob in Obel, constantly looking down on Jaden's life.
But the show deconstructs him so beautifully. He loses to Jaden. He gets disowned by his super wealthy brothers. He's humiliated by the school. And he eventually leaves to go to North Academy to try and restart.
And this is a crucial turning point for him, right? He ends up in some frozen wasteland, just surviving on nothing.
He does. And to get back to glory, he has to build a deck out of cards that other people literally threw away.
The Ojamas, the ugly little yellow, green, and black goblins, 0 attack. They look like weird little aliens in thongs. It's bizarre.
They are objectively terrible cards on it. But Chaz returns to Duel Academy not with a deck of rare, powerful monsters bought with his family's money, but with a deck of garbage. And he proves that even unmatched, weak cards have value if you use.
It's a great arc.
It mirrors his own journey from a pampered prince to a gritty survivor. It's a surprisingly deep lesson on resourcefulness and self-worth. He learns to love these ugly little spirits.
I love that. Game, set, and match. But okay, while the high school drama and class warfare are fun, the show doesn't stay there. We get our first real world-ending threat, the shot.
And this is where the genre shifts. It goes from sports anime to supernatural thriller. Suddenly, 7 assassins arrive on the island to release the sacred beast.
Which are these 3 legendary cards sealed beneath the school.
Exactly. And if they get out, it's not just bad grades anymore, it's the end of the world.
And the stakes get physical really fast. We get Camila, the vampire. She's not just beating people at a card game, she's turning them into literal dolls. She captures Crowler, she captures Zane.
Zane's defeat was a massive shock to the audience at the time. He was the Kaiser, the undefeated top student who always respected his opponents.
The untouchable one.
Seeing him reduced to a doll, it just raised the threat level significantly. It tells Jaden and you, the viewer, that the safety net of the senpai is gone.
And the big bad of this whole arc turns out the superintendent, Kajimura.
Yes, this ancient old man hooked up to a life support machine who's obsessed with regaining his youth. He wants the energy of the duel monsters to become immortal. It's a classic greed for life villain.
And we also get this wild reveal that Professor Banner, the chill teacher who's always carrying his cat, was actually a shadow rider, an alchemist named Amnail, whose soul was inside a homunculus body.
It's so out there. The cat, Pharaoh, is just hanging out while his owner is this 500-year-old alchemist ghost.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Jaden wins. He beats Kajimaru, he stops the sacred beasts, and everything is fine for now.
And that's really the end of the innocent era. Jaden is still having fun. He treats these life-or-death battles as just exciting adventures.
He hasn't realized yet that playing hero has consequence. He thinks his plot armor will protect his heart, not just his life.
Which brings us to part, the sophomore slump, or as I like to call it, the year of cults and aliens.
It is a drastic tonal shift. We are introduced to the Society of Light.
Yeah.
And this isn't just a group of bullies, it's a full-on cult that effectively brainwashes the student body.
And it's led by Sartorius, this fortune teller who believes in absolute destiny. He flips tarot cards to determine the fate of the entire world.
Sartorius is genuinely creepy. He turns the dorms white. Everyone starts dressing the same, smiling that vacuous cult smile.
Yeah.
It's really unsettling.
It is. But the biggest blow to Jaden comes from a new rival. Aster Phoenix.
Aster is designed to be the anti-Jaden. He's a pro-duelist, a celebrity, but he uses destiny heroes. And while Jaden's elemental heroes are these bright comic book archetypes like Superman or Batman, very American, Aster's heroes are darker, more British-inspired anti-heroes. And the pivotal moment comes when Aster just crushes Jaden in a duel.
He doesn't just beat him, though. He destroys his ability to see his card. This was such a striking visual. Jaden looks at his hand, and the cards are just blank. White card.
This is the sobriety check for Jaden. His confidence was his engine. His connection to the spirits was his identity. Without it, he's useless. And the show actually explores depression. Jaden leaves the academy and just wanders off.
He wanders into the ocean, and then he ends up in space. Okay, we have to talk about this. He goes to space.
Neospace.
Right, Neospace. And he meets a dolphin. A dolphin with legs. Neospatian aqua dolphin.
It sounds absurd, and on a literal level, it is absolutely bonkers. I get it. But narratively, it's about Jaden reconnecting with his childhood imagination.
Okay.
He learns that as a kid, he entered a contest to design cards, and his designs were sent into space in a satellite. He goes and retrieves those childhood drawings, the Neospatians, and comes back with a new ace monster, elemental hero, Neo. He learns that there's this cosmic body raging between the light of destruction and darkness.
So the message is, when you lose your way, go back to what you loved as a child. Sweet message, wrapped in a very weird packet.
Very weird. But he comes back with a new deck and new confidence. But while he was gone, the school increased. Chaz joined the cult.
Chaz in the all-white uniform, preaching about the light. It was horrifying, but also kind of hilarious. He tried to destroy the Slifer dorm with a wrecking ball.
He did. But there are other subplots here that really flesh out the world and the growing darkness. We get Tyranno Hasselberry.
The guy with the dinosaur DNA?
Yes. A paleontological dig accident led to him having a dinosaur bone implanted in his leg. So now he has dino DNA and acts like a drill sergeant. He becomes Jaden's new physical muscle, sort of replacing the more timid Cirrus for a while.
But much darker things are happening with Zane Truesdale.
Oh, yeah. Zane loves Aster, too. But unlike Jaden, who went to space to find his inner child, Zane went underground.
The Hellkaiser arc.
This is a really potent critique of the pressure to win. Zane starts fighting in these underground duels where they wear shock collars.
So they take real damage.
They take real physical damage. He realizes that respect and honor didn't help him win against Aster. So he adopts the Cyberdark deck, which is all about ruthlessness and victory at any cost. He stops respecting his opponents. He only cares about winning.
It's a tragic fall for the noble duelist we saw in Season 1. He's literally destroying his body just to feel the rush of winning again.
The season ends with Jaden facing Sartorius, who it turns out is possessed by an alien light being.
Of course he is.
Jaden saves the world again, destroys the satellite that was going to brainwash the planet. Standard Tuesday. But you can feel the tone is shifted.
Definitely.
The enemies are more psychological. The battles are about destiny, free will, the burden of expectation. Jaden is winning, but you can tell he's starting to get tired. And that prepares us for part 3.
Part 3. The Dark Turn. Dimension World. This is where the show famously goes off the rails in the best possible.
This season is where GX stops being a kid's show and becomes a full-blown deconstruction of the shonen genre. It starts, innocently enough, with new transfer students.
Including Jesse Anderson.
Jesse Anderson, who is great. He uses crystal beasts, which are these beautiful jewel animals. He's basically Jaden, but with a southern accent. They vibe instantly because they can both see card spirit.
They're like platonic soulmates.
They are. They mirror each other perfectly. But the catalyst for disaster is a new professor, Professor Viper. He forces the students to wear these biobands that drain their dual energy to power some mysterious machine.
It's a whole survival of the fittest philosophy, and then the entire school, the building, the students, everyone gets teleported to a desert dimension.
It's basically Lord of the Flies with dual discs. The students are scared, resources are low, monsters are real, and the damage you take in duels is real. It's a survival horror story now.
But the real trauma, the thing that sets everything in motion, happens when they briefly return to the real world, only for Jesse to be left behind.
He sacrifices himself to defeat a villain and gets trapped in another dimension.
And Jaden does not handle this well.
No, he becomes obsessed. He feels completely responsible. He convinces his friends to go back into a dangerous dark world to rescue Jesse.
But he's not acting like a leader anymore, is he? He's acting like a desperate addict.
That's a good way to put it. He pushes his friends too hard. He ignores their safety because he is so consumed by his guilt over Jesse. He's tunnel-visioned.
And that leads to the breaking point. The dark world is brutal, friends are getting captured, disappearing, and there's this moment where his friends Chaz, Alexis, Hasselberry are sacrificed for a ritual right in front of him.
He watches it happen, and he hesitates. He could have saved them, but he froze.
And he snapped. The guilt just breaks his mind. He feels that his optimism, his whole having fun attitude, was a weakness that got people killed.
He decides that being a hero isn't about smiles, it's about power. So he abandons the Jaden persona entirely and becomes the Supreme King.
This was shocking to watch as Jaden, our fun-loving hero, is now clad in full black medieval armor with these glowing gold eyes, commanding an army of monsters and ruthlessly ruling this dimension.
And he's not possessed. That's the crucial distinction a lot of people miss. This is a part of him.
Shadow self.
It's his shadow self. It's the part of him that demands absolute control because he couldn't save his friends with kindness. He becomes this cold, efficient, utilitarian tyrant. He slaughters duelists just to perfect the ultimate fusion card. It takes a massive sacrifice from his friends to bring him back.
We have to give a shout out to Jim Cook and Axel Brody here. Jim, the transfer student with the crocodile on his back.
With the eye patch, yeah.
He literally fights the Supreme King. He uses this artifact, the Eye of Orichalcum, to dive into Jaden's mind.
And he sacrifices his life to weaken the Supreme King's hold, just to reach the real Jaden who is buried deep inside. Then Axel Brody steps up to finish the job.
The mercenary duelist.
Right. Axel has to overcome his own fear to duel the Supreme King. He manages to force a draw, which finally snaps Jaden out of it. The armor crumbles. Jaden wakes up, and he is horrified by what he's done. He remembers everything.
But the nightmare is not even because the true villain of the entire season reveals Yubel.
This backstory is incredibly dark for this franchise. Yubel isn't just a monster. She's a card spirit from Jaden's childhood.
A card.
She did, but she was overprotected. As a kid, Jaden played duels with her, and she would inflict actual, real physical pain on his opponents to protect. She hospitalized his childhood friend.
So Jaden's parents made him send the card away, and he launches it into space in a capsule.
Exactly. Yubel felt abandoned. She drifted through space, exposed to that same light of destruction from season 2, and was driven mad by physical and emotional pain. Her logic became complete.
What with her logic?
It was. Jaden sent me away because he loves me. Pain is how we express it. Therefore, I will make Jaden suffer as much as possible to show him how much I love him.
That is incredibly messed up. It's a toxic, codependent obsession given cosmic power.
It is. And to make it worse, Yubel possesses Jesse's body, the very person Jaden cares about most, forcing Jaden to duel his best friend. It's pure psychological torture. He has to fight the person he came to save, who is being piloted by the ghost of his childhood trauma.
So the resolution, this is where it gets really interesting. Usually in these kinds of shows, you just blast the bad guy with a laser, they explode, everyone cheers.
But Jaden realizes that violence won't solve this. Yubel is acting out of a twisted form of love and abandonment. She is a part of his past that he tried to throw away.
He has to take responsibility.
He decides to take responsibility. During the final duel, he uses that very card the Supreme King was trying to create, super polymerization.
The ultimate fusion card.
But he doesn't use it to fuse monsters to attack. He uses it to fuse his own soul with Yubel. He accepts her. He accepts his trauma, his darkness, and the Supreme King persona. He literally absorbs his demon.
He tells her, you're not going to be alone anymore. And the duel ends. The dimension is saved. But Jaden is changed forever.
He's no longer fully human. He's a human spirit hybrid. He has heterochromia now. One eye is his normal warm brown. One is Yubel's reptilian orange. He has physical powers. He can manifest dual spirits in the real world. He's grown up, But the cost was his innocence. He can never go back to being that.
That leads us straight into part final year. Jaden comes back to the academy, but the vibe is completely different. He's aloof, he's serious, he doesn't say, get your game on anymore.
He's suffering from depression and PTSD. He distances himself from his friends because he thinks being close to him puts them in danger, which given the last 3 years is a pretty valid fear.
That's fair.
He's efficiently dispatching any threats that pop up, but there's no joy in it anymore. He's just doing a job.
And the threat this season is so abstract. It's a villain called Dark Knight.
And darkness isn't a monster. It's a concept. It represents the collective emptiness of humanity, the despair, feeling that nothing.
The mechanic of this villain is terrifying. People start vanishing from memories if no one remembers it.
It's weaponized nihilism.
We see Atticus, Alexis's brother, struggling with his past as Night Shroud, and a new character, Fujiwara, who wants to flee into a world of clear nothingness just to avoid pain. It feels like the show is tackling the anxiety.
Precisely. The core argument of the villain is the real world is scary and full of pain, so why not just give up and fade into nothing? And Jaden has to fight through all of this.
The climax sees Jaden facing off against the concept of darkness tries to break him by showing him a future where humanity fails, where everything ends in...
And Jaden's counter-argument isn't, you're wrong, everything is perfect. It's much more mature than that.
What does he say?
He basically says, yes, life has pain. I know pain better than anyone. I've caused pain. But the bonds between people make it worth living. He summons elemental hero god Neos. He uses the power of his connections, including Yubel, who is now his partner, speaking to him inside his head to defeat the dark.
He saves the world. One last... But then we get to regret. Ceremony happens. Everyone is moving on. Alexis, Chaz, Sartorius, they're all looking...
But Jaden doesn't really fit in anymore. He saved the universe. He's fused with a spirit. He can't just go get a desk job or join the pro league.
So what does he do?
He packs his bag to leave without saying goodbye. He just slips out quietly.
But he has one last stop. He's guided to the replica of Yugi's grandfather. There, he meets Yugi Muto,
the Queen of Game. Yugi senses that while Jaden has gained immense power, he's lost something essential. He's lost the fun. He's lost the love of the game. He treats it like war now.
So Yugi sends him back in time.
He sends him back in time to duel a younger Yugi the Yugi from the beginning of the original series with the Pharaoh.
This duel is pure fan service and the best. Elemental heroes versus dark magician. It's back and forth, classic stuff. But the moment that matters, it's when Yugi summons Slifer the Sky Dragon,
the Egyptian god card. Faced with this overwhelming, legendary power, something he can't possibly control, Jaden doesn't stress. He doesn't go into Supreme King mode.
He smiles.
He smiles, a genuine, happy smile. He remembers the thrill of the challenge. He remembers that feeling from the very first episode against Crowler.
The duel cuts away before we see a winner. We never see the final attack connect.
The winner doesn't matter. The prize wasn't the win. The prize was Jaden recovering his spark.
So the series ends with him wandering off into the desert, a vagabond hero, with Yubel by his side and Pharaoh the cat in his bag.
He has his smile back.
So let's synthesize this. What does this all mean? If we look back at the entire journey from the kid who is late for his exams to the dimension-hopping spirit fuser,
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is a surprisingly deep deconstruction of its own genre. It asks a question that most shows like it ignore. What actually happens to a teenager if you put the weight of the entire world on their shoulders?
And the answer seems to be, they break.
They break. They suffer. They might even become the villain for a little while. But the show also says that you can put yourself back together. You can integrate your trauma, literally, in Jaden's case, and come out stronger, even if you're a little different than you were before.
It's a much heavier, more nuanced message than I ever expected from a show that's fundamentally about selling trading cards. It validates the idea that it's okay to not be okay, as long as you keep moving forward.
It creates a legacy that is so distinct from the original series. Yugi's story was about dust and history. Jaden's story is about growing up and the messy, painful loss of it.
Okay, here's a provocative thought to leave you with, though. Is Jaden actually okay at the end?
That's the lingering question, isn't it?
Yeah. He leaves all his friends behind. He doesn't graduate in any traditional sense. He's just wandering the world with only a spirit to his soul.
It's a happy ending because he's at peace with himself, but it's an incredibly lonely one. He can never really relate to normal people. In a way, he's like a god walking among men.
He's a hero, but he's walked a path that has fundamentally separated him from everyone. It's beautiful, but it's also tragic.
Which is fitting for GX. It was always the show that smiled while hiding a lot of pain.
Well, that's our deep dive into the wild, traumatic, and surprisingly profound world of Jaden Yuki. Whether you're facing a written exam or the embodiment of nihilism this week, remember to try and find the fun in it. Thanks for listening.
Stay curious.